The internet runs on code.
But code isn't enough.
Behind every deploy is a race against complexity.
Cloud scale, cost spike. AI rewrites the rules.
Tools break, titles change.
This is the world of DevOps, cloud, and software at scale.
Built on sleepless nights.
On-call alerts, silent fixes.
We don't just build features. We build the backbone of the modern world.
This is Run It Bear Podcast. Subscribe. Ship smarter, sleep better.
You're listening to Run It Bear Developer Podcast, where we strip tech down to its core. Each episode blends insights from our expert engineers, the developer community, and the support of AI.
Hello and welcome to a new deep dive.
Hey there.
We're jumping into a tool that's, well, absolutely central for so many of you, especially if you're a software developer. Sysadmin. Really? Anyone who kind of lives on the command line?
Yeah, that little blinking cursor.
Exactly. Today we're talking about the terminal.
Right, that fundamental window into your system.
Yeah.
And the info you pulled together for this, it asks a pretty pointed question, doesn't it?
It really does.
For developers, now in 2025, is your terminal setup stuck way back, like early 2000s era?
Yeah, the source material is pretty blunt about it and says, look, if you're still rocking the default terminal, your GNOME terminal, Sturm, maybe even cmd.exe if you're on Windows.
Oh, boy.
It's like bringing a wooden sword to a boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe a 1999 Corolla to a Formula One race. Bit harsh, but...
But it gets the point across, right? It makes you stop and think.
It does.
And the point isn't really that those old terminals are broken. They work, fundamentally. It's just that everything around them has changed so much.
How developers work, the tools, the expectations.
Exactly. And the potential for, efficiency, comfort. It's night and day compared to what's possible now. It's like insisting on using Notepad as your main code editor in 2025.
You just wouldn't. So, okay, our mission today. Let's unpack why this matters, what a modern terminal actually is, and crucially, how you listening can level up your own setup.
Yeah, using the insights from the stuff we looked at for this deep dive.
And this is really for you, the developers out there, wrangling systems, writing code day in, day out.
We're going to dig into the features that turn that basic text box into something. Well, something more like a powerful, personalized cockpit.
We're talking GPU power, maybe some AI help, deep customization.
And yeah, setups that actually look and feel good to use.
Definitely. We'll touch on some of those fun analogies from the source, too. The boss fights, the cyberpunk weapons, ricing.
Oh, ricing. A noble pursuit.
Indeed. But hey, before we really dive in, we'd love to hear from you all listening. Are you enjoying these deep dives?
Yeah, let us know.
And specifically about today, what's your terminal situation? Are you still on the default? Or have you already found a modern favorite?
Drop a comment. Tell us what you think.
And hey, if this chat helps, maybe share it with a colleague who's still swinging that wooden sword.
Gently nudge them towards the light. Okay, so let's get into it. What actually makes a terminal modern? What's the difference?
Right. It's definitely more than just running commands.
Absolutely. The core idea that comes through is that these newer terminals focus on speed, aesthetics, and deep customization right alongside the basic function.
It's about turning this utility into a space you actually maybe even enjoy working in.
Exactly. And there are specific technical features enabling that. One of the big ones is GPU acceleration.
Ah, okay. So it's using the graphics card, not just the main processor, to draw the text and interface.
Precisely. Which means smoother scrolling, much faster rendering, maybe hitting that, 60 frames per second feel the source mentions.
That makes sense, especially if you've got loads of output flying by.
Huge difference. Then there's vastly better color support. We're talking true color.
Which is...
How many colors?
16 million colors. Way beyond the old 256 color limit you used to get.
Okay, and why does that matter in a terminal? Is it just for flashy themes?
Well, themes are part of it, but think about modern syntax highlighting or complex prompts. They can use that full spectrum to make different elements really distinct, much easier to read at a glance.
Gotcha. Better readability. That must apply to symbols and stuff, too.
It does. Better handling of Unicode and ligatures is key. You know those nice arrows like axe or the symbol?
Yeah, where they join up cleanly?
Right. Modern terminals render those properly without weird gaps or looking clunky. It sounds small, but it cleans up the visual noise quite a bit.
Little details that add up when you're staring at it all day.
And talking about staring at things, better scroll back. This is a big practical one.
You mean how far back you can scroll?
Yeah. Instead of just a few hundred lines, some offer practically unlimited scroll back. Think digging through huge log files or command history without losing the start.
Super useful for debugging or figuring out what command you ran half an hour ago that broke something.
Exactly. We've all been there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the really kind of out there feature mentioned, multimedia support. Some terminals can actually display images directly in the output.
Images, like JPEGs and PNGs, right there in the terminal.
Yep. It's still a bit niche, maybe, but the capability exists. Tools like InKeyCat can do it.
Wild. Okay.
So you take all these things together, the GPU speed, the colors, the fonts, the scroll back. The source makes the point that even things that seem like just eye candy, like maybe transparency or blur effects,
Yeah.
they actually contribute to the overall comfort and workflow when combined with everything else. It's about reducing friction.
So it's not just about having a setup that looks cool on, like, Reddit's Runix porn. There's a practical benefit.
That's the argument. When your main tool feels fast, looks clear, is easy on the eyes, you spend less mental energy just using the tool and more on the actual task.
Makes sense. Fewer tiny annoyances, less friction, maybe fewer mistakes. Could be. A setup that feels, as the source puts it, drool-worthy isn't just vanity. It can genuinely make the experience better, maybe even make you a bit faster or more accurate.
Okay, I'm sold on the why. That default beige box is starting to feel pretty ancient now. So if you want to upgrade, what are the actual options? The source paints a picture of a pretty lively battlefield out there in 2025.
Oh, it is. Lots of competition, lots of emulators trying to be faster or smarter, more feature-packed than the defaults. The info we have gives a nice rundown of the main players, sort of a gladiator arena.
All right, let's meet the contenders. Who's stepping into the ring first?
First up, Kitty. This one comes up a lot. Often called a power user's choice.
Okay, what's its angle?
Heavy GPU rendering, lots of features like layouts, tiling, ligatures, even that image support we mentioned. But the source really highlights its configuration file, says it feels like you're programming your terminal's soul.
Programming your terminal soul, I like that. So it's powerful, keyboard-driven.
Yeah, very keyboard-centric. You'll need to be comfortable digging into that config file, maybe read the manual, RTFM, you know.
Got it. Best for performance junkies, customization nuts, people who like control.
Exactly. Then there's Warp. This one's positioned very differently, described as a sort of futuristic AI sidekick.
AI sidekick. Intriguing. How so?
It's cloud-powered, which is different, and it introduces concepts like organizing output into blocks, AI command suggestions, a command palette like in code editors.
Okay. Like VS Code's command palette.
Kinda, yeah. Plus, inline autocomplete syntax hints. It tries to bring that modern IDE feel right into the terminal. The source asks, what if the terminal wasn't scary? Warp seems like an answer to that.
Makes it more approachable, maybe less intimidating.
That seems to be the goal. The catch is it does require an account, a login, and that cloud connection.
Right. So maybe ideal for developers who love that guided IDE-like experience and want it on the command line.
Seems like it. Now, if raw speed is your absolute priority, there's Alacrity.
Alacrity, heard of this one. Built in Rust, right?
Yeah. Yep. Rust powered, GPU rendered, and just relentlessly focused on performance. Minimalist.
Goes straight off.
Well, minimalist means minimalist. The source notes, no tabs, no frills. You want multiple sessions. You'll need something like Tumux or Screen.
Ah, okay. So it's lean and mean. For the absolute purists who want speed above all else and will build their own workflow around it using other tools, config heavy too, I assume?
Yeah, configuration is definitely involved.
All right. What if you do want more features baked in?
Then maybe Tabby is worth a look. The source calls it an all-in-one spaceship.
Spaceship. Okay. What's on board?
Built-in SSH client and connection manager, which is pretty handy. A plugin system, draggable tabs. It's cross-platform. It is built with Electron, which sometimes raises eyebrows about performance.
Yeah, Electron apps can be resource hogs.
True, but the source mentions Tabby feels surprisingly smooth, and its UI is kind of reminiscent of VS Code.
Okay, so that built-in SSH alone could be a big draw for people managing lots of servers.
Yeah.
Good for visually oriented users, maybe?
Seems like a good fit. Another really feature-rich option is Westterm.
Westterm. What's its story?
This one's described as a beast. Apparently has insane scrollback capabilities, powerful scripting using Lua, which lets you customize it really deeply,
Right.
built-in panes, tabs, very flexible layout options.
Lua scripting. Interesting.
Yeah, super configurable, also GPU accelerated. The source positions it as maybe having a bit more focus on user experience out of the box compared to Kitty or Alacrity, while still being very powerful.
So another power user choice, but maybe for those who want more built-in structure and that deep scripting control.
That's the vibe, lots of control there. And finally, the list includes Blackbox.
Blackbox, haven't heard of that one as much.
Yeah, called Genome's underrated gem. It's specifically a modern terminal for the Genome desktop, built with GTK, clean interface, nice theming, integrates well if you're already in that ecosystem.
Ah, okay. So a solid native feeling option for Geno users who want something modern, but maybe not overly complex or bloated.
Exactly. Sleek and integrated.
Wow, okay. That's quite a lineup. Kitty, Warp, Alacrity, Tabby, Western, Blackbox.
And the big takeaway from this whole section, echoing the source, is really there's no single best one.
Right.
The best terminal is your best terminal, the one that fits your workflow, your preferences, how you like to work. It's about exploring.
That feels less daunting. It's not about finding the universally perfect tool, but your personal Excalibur.
Exactly. Your weapon of choice. And hey, the source even throws in a bonus round. Some more. Experimental or quirky options.
Ooh, quirky's good. Maybe not for the main daily driver, but for fun. For that weekend racing spree the source mentioned.
Precisely. Just to play around or see what else is possible. First one is Hyper.
Hyper rings a bell. That's the Electron-based one, right?
Yep. The unique thing is you can style it using web technologies, HTML, CSS, JavaScript.
Theme my terminal with CSS.
Oh.
Wow. The source even showed a little config snippet. That's definitely different. Could be fun for web developers.
Could be. Then there's terminology. This is the terminal from the Enlightenment desktop environment.
Enlightenment. Blast from the past. What's special about terminology?
It's multimedia stuff. It can apparently render images, videos, even file thumbnails directly in the terminal using commands like imgcat.
Imcheck, putting pictures right in the command output.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that qualifies as wild. The source says it's flashy but performs okay.
Surprisingly performant, yeah.
All right. And the last weird one.
For maximum nostalgia points. Cool retro term.
Oh, I've seen screenshots of this. It looks like an old CRT monitor, right?
Exactly. Complete with animated scan lines, screen curvature, maybe even phosphor ghosting, and a subtle background hum. You can pick old school color schemes like Apple II green or amber.
That is gloriously impractical. I love it. What did the source say? Messy? Yes. Practical? Not always. Fun? Absolutely.
Nailed it. Perfect for a laugh or a very specific themed setup.
These really show how far the idea of a terminal can be stretched, huh?
Definitely beyond just, black and white text.
Okay, so we've seen the new emulators, the sleek, the fast, the weird. But just getting a shiny new terminal window isn't the whole story, is it? How do we power up the entire experience?
Right. This is where you start, as the source cheekily puts it, modding it like a pro hacker who also really likes fonts.
Yeah. I like that.
And these are steps you can take to improve things in any terminal, even the older ones, though they really shine with the modern features.
Okay, lay them on us. Power-ups activate. Step 1.
Upgrade your shell. Seriously, if you're still on the default bash that came with your system,
Time to move on.
probably. The strong recommendation is to switch to something like Sush or maybe Fish. They just offer more features out of the box.
And then you layer things on top of that.
Exactly. Frameworks like or Presto for Sush are popular. Or a tool that's getting a lot of love is Starship.
Starship. What's special about that one?
It's a prompt, but it's super fast, very configurable, and crucially, it works across different shells. Bash, Shish, Fish, even PowerShell on Windows.
Oh, neat. So you can get a consistent, powerful prompt everywhere. The source had some install commands for that, right?
Yep, easy to install. Okay, step 2, and this one's visually huge. Get fonts that don't suck.
Laughs blunt, but fair. What does that mean in practice?
Use a nerd font. Seriously, these are existing programming fonts like Firecode, JetBrains Mono, Hack, etc., but patched to include thousands of extra icons.
Icons from Font Awesome, Material Design, Weather icons, all that stuff.
All baked right into the font. It fixes alignment issues you might get trying to combine fonts, and it just makes prompts and tools that use icons look way cleaner.
Yeah, nerd fonts are pretty much essential for that modern, icon-heavy look. Nerdfonts.com is the place to go.
That's the hub. It really ties the visual experience together. Step 3. Replace some default command line tools with better alternatives.
Okay, like swapping out the basics.
Exactly. The source suggests a few key aliases. Replace cat with bat.
Back.
Yeah.
The one with syntax highlighting and line numbers.
And git integration. Yeah. Game changer for just viewing files. Replace L's with exap.
Gives you nicer formatting, colors, icons, tree view.
Better Git status integration, too. And replace find with FD.
FD is way faster and has a simpler, more intuitive syntax than find, doesn't it?
Much more user-friendly. The source says you'll feel the power boost instantly with just these swaps. And I gotta agree, especially BAT. First time I used it, I was like, where has this been all my life?
Totally. Reading config files became so much easier.
They really smooth out those core interactions. Okay, step 4. Add autocomplete and auto-suggestions.
Making the shell smarter.
Yeah. For zhush, the standout is zhush auto-suggestions.
That's the one that shows the ghost text of the command it thinks you're typing.
Exactly, based on your history. Huge time saver, cuts down on typos massively. The source had install instructions for that too.
Nice. Anything else? A bonus round.
Bonus round, get a pretty prompt. Beyond Starship, if you're on zhush, power level 10K is legendary.
P10K. Yeah, that thing is gorgeous. And surprisingly fast too, right?
Incredibly fast. Highly configurable. Shows tons of useful info like Git status, background jobs, virtual environments, error codes, all with nice icons.
And the config process is cool too. The source said it's like a game tutorial.
Yeah, it runs this interactive wizard that asks you questions and shows you previews. Makes it really easy to get a look you like. Fun, actually.
Okay, so shell, fonts, tools, completions, prompt. That's a solid upgrade path.
And if you're looking for inspiration on how to put it all together, the source points towards .files repositories online, like .files.github.io.
Right. See what other people are doing.
Steal like an artist, as they say. Find bits you like, adapt them.
No shame in that. It's the open source way.
Totally. Now, the source also kind of calls out developers on the usual excuses for not doing any of this.
Uh-oh. The excuses section. I feel seen. I don't have time. I don't want to break my perfectly adequate setup. It's too much hassle to reconfigure everything.
Ring any bells?
Maybe one or two.
Well, the source's reply is aimed squarely at devs, and it's pretty funny. Buddy, you're writing YAML.
Laughs. Oh, no.
To manage Docker containers, Kubernetes clusters, CI/CD pipelines, you can handle a terminal change.
Okay, ouch. Fair point. I can wrestle with Helm charts. I can probably figure out a .csrc file. Put some perspective.
Right. It's probably way less effort than we build it up to be in our heads.
So how easy is it, really? What's the actual process?
The process outlined is genuinely straightforward. Step 1. Install the new terminal emulator.
Which is usually just like one command with your package manager.
Yeah.
apt install, brew install.
Exactly. The source gives examples for Kitty, Warp, Tabby, install it, launch it, done. That's step 1.
Okay, yeah, that's easy. Step 2.
Bring over your config or grab new .files. If you're already using Zush or Fish, your main shell config.csrc.config.fish should just work in the new terminal.
Because the terminal emulator is separate from the shell itself.
Right. Or if you want a fresh start, grab a template from somewhere like .files.github.io. And again, the source reminds us, no shame in copying its open source culture, baby.
Stand on the shoulders of giants, or at least people with cooler prompts. Got it. Step 3.
Spend maybe, an hour or two tuning it. Pick your nerd font, set a color theme you like, maybe run that power level 10K config wizard if you installed it.
So like one evening of tinkering, max?
Probably. The source suggests after that initial setup, you're basically good to go, and you probably won't want to go back.
That sounds surprisingly manageable. Minimal investment for potentially big returns. The final step.
Step 4. Enjoy the productivity boost and the instant respect on Linux porn.
Laughs. Knew it had to come back to that. The true motivation.
Hey, feeling good about your tools matters. The source puts it perfectly. Once your terminal starts looking and behaving like a weapon from a cyberpunk anime, you'll get stuff done faster. And you'll feel cooler doing it.
I can't argue with that logic. Feeling cool is an underrated productivity hack.
It absolutely is. And look, if you're still hesitant, still worried about messing up your current workflow, the advice is simple. Don't uninstall your old terminal right away. Just install the new one and run them side by side for a bit.
Try before you fully commit.
Exactly. The source is pretty confident that you'll naturally start using the better one more and more, and the old one will just fade away.
Makes sense. Let the best terminal win.
So, okay, wrapping this all up. The core message from this deep dive seems pretty clear, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like your terminal. It's basically your home base as a developer. Don't let it feel like you're living in, a dial-up modem museum.
Right. A modern terminal, plus a good shell, nice fonts, better tools. It's not just about looking flashy.
It actually saves time, reduces frustration, makes dense info easier to understand.
Transforms interacting with your system from maybe a chore into something smoother, more fluid, maybe even enjoyable.
Yeah, fast rendering, smart completions, seeing your Git status instantly. Those little things add up over a day, a week, a year.
And the really encouraging part, I think, is that you don't need to be some kind of terminal guru or shell-scripting wizard to get these benefits.
No wizard hat required.
Nope. Just pick one of these modern emulators that sounds interesting, try upgrading your shell and grabbing a nerd font, swapples for exami, maybe. Just experiment a bit.
Find your vibe, as the source said.
Exactly.
Take an evening, pick one or two things we talked about, give your terminal setup the glow up it probably deserves. Your future, slightly less annoyed self will thank you.
It really does make you think about how much potential there is to optimize these tools we use constantly, every single day. And it leads to a deeper question, maybe.
Oh.
If the terminal is your main interface for crafting code, for building things, for interacting with complex systems,
Yeah.
what does prioritizing speed and comfort and even personalized aesthetics in that space, what does that say about how you approach your craft overall?
Is it just a tool to get a job done, or does caring about that fundamental workspace reflect something more, like a commitment to efficiency, maybe even mastery?
Yeah, something like that. Food for thought.
Definitely something to mull over. Well, thank you so much for tuning into this deep dive, everyone. We really hope you found it useful.
Yeah, hope it sparked some ideas. If you enjoyed this and if you like these deep dives in general, please do let us know.
Leave us a comment. What's your terminal setup? Are you Team Kitty? Team Warp? Still rocking Skirm with pride? What are your must-have CLI tools? We'd love to hear.
And yeah, if you know a fellow developer who could use a nudge away from that 1999 Corolla of a terminal,
Share this deep dive with them gently.
gently. Thanks again for listening.
Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.
Thanks for tuning in to Run It Bear. Like, subscribe, and share. For more interesting deep dives, join our blog. Link is in description. Catch you next time.